In a previous module, I noted how closed captioning tools can be used to develop instructional videos that will benefit students who are hard of hearing, deaf, or a student with a language deficit. Closed captioning can also help students with various cognitive disabilities as it will help them better understand the material. You may also want to consider developing supplementary notes to help support student understanding. This can be done in outline format in Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, or computer application of your choice. This approach supports the universal design for learning guidelines, as the video with closed captioning along with the support notes provides multiple means of representation along with the other UDL guidelines. Furthermore, presenting information in multiple ways can help address the diverse needs of learners in the classroom and engage students on multiple levels. The use of caption or subtitled media can be a great tool for teachers looking to differentiate classroom instruction. It should be noted that many struggling readers avoid text and have minimal exposure to print. Imagine the many additional hours of print exposure your students would get if captions were turned on every time they watched a video at home and at school. For students who are learning English, caption media can help improve vocabulary acquisition, listening comprehension, as well as word recognition and decoding skills. Using captioned videos can help ensure that students access important material. For students who are struggling readers, seeing and hearing unfamiliar words can help improve their understanding of the material and important vocabulary words. If your students are very low-level readers, you may consider using videos aimed at a younger audience or those that relate to their areas of interest. For example, an animated action series, or film or pop culture content such as interviews with musicians and actors. Entertaining, brief videos tend to have less challenging vocabulary, and your students will still receive the literacy benefits of reading while listening. Providing information both textually and through the use of video, where appropriate, can be motivating for your students. Because we naturally read text that appears on a screen, using captions and subtitles can help boost literacy skills in a fun and engaging way. Until recently, this kind of endeavor would have been costly, as you would have had to purchase dedicated software that supported closed captioning. However, as more companies begin to support UDL guidelines, software, only available as a standalone application, are now integrated into commonly used software applications, including software provided to users at no charge. With this in mind, I am going to walk you through the process of developing your own video with closed captioning. First, you must decide what kind of video do you want to make. Your options are quite extensive. You can make a video that showcases a short skit, a song, an interview, a poem, a live event, as well as other options. Once you decide what you are making a video of, you will need to develop a storyboard. A storyboard typically contains a number of drawings along with directional notes that form your visual script. In essence, the storyboard depicts various actions or events. Naturally, storyboarding is not meant for all kinds of videos. For example, it will work well with skits and a short story. However, it will not prove as useful for an interview, live event, or scripted lecture. If you are recording a live event, you will plan which live shots you want to capture and then will shape the final video in the post-editing phase of your work. For example, you will decide which shots to present on the final video, whether a voiceover is needed to clarify your content, and whether additional footage may be needed. In an interview, you will need to spend significant time developing the questions you are asking the interviewee. You may consider sharing the proposed questions with the interviewee, especially if they typically are not interviewed for video. After the interview is captured, you may decide to edit some of the material so that the recorded interview will flow better. Finally, the scripted video lecture is much like a scripted movie or TV show. However, in this case, there is usually only one principal actor or actress presenting the material. In both of these cases, the quality of the video will depend on the script and how well the presenter is familiar with the script. With this in mind, in the next episode, I will share with you a few script ideas as part of this lecture. My first script idea is a short story called Death by Math. In this short story, I will narrate the story and play the role of a few central characters when appropriate. So, without further ado, Death by Math. Death by Math by Jacob Kutnicki. The comic cartel was in full force. Briefcase in hand, the swap took place. Outside the classroom, a group of students were flicking cards against the wall. Elsewhere, another group of students played with their PSPs. In one back corner of the classroom, the daily arm wrestle competition was on. Students in the middle rows were texting while other students were tweeting. As always, the lookout force was on the job. Dudes! Math teacher approaching. Hide electronics. The students quickly hid their electronic and gaming paraphernalia and scuttled to their assigned seats. Michael Latta, the math teacher, was approaching the door. Armed with his thermos of mocha latte, the math king was ready to pronounce his order of the day. Janice, write these questions on the blackboard. Class, you have 10 minutes to answer these questions. Justin, you're lucky I didn't see you daydreaming. Jennifer, I'm confiscating your cell phone. And Dennis, hand over that ring ding. After the students posted their work on the blackboard, Mr. Latta started his lesson on truth tables. Mr. Latta started by saying, "We will now define the logical operators which we mentioned in our last class using truth tables. Let us proceed with caution. Most of the operators have names which we may be accustomed to using in ways that are fuzzy or even contradictory to their proper definitions. In all cases, use the truth table for an operator as its exact and only definition. Try not to bring logic, the baggage of your colloquial use of the English language." Justin was fast asleep. Jennifer was cracking her knuckles to stay awake. The comic cartel was reading their comic books under the table. Some of the more brazen members strategically placed their comic books in the math book. The arm wrestling group resorted to finger wrestling, while the gamers, texters, and tweeters struggled to stay awake. Meanwhile, Mr. Latta continued to lecture and said, "The first logical operator which we will discuss is the AND, or conjunction operator. For the computer scientist, it is perhaps the most useful logical operator we will discuss. It is a binary operator. A binary operator is defined as an operator that takes two operands. Out of sheer boredom, Dennis fell out of his seat. A cackling laugh ensued the classroom. The loud noise startled Justin, woke him from his slumber, and caused him to bump his head against the table. A chorus of laughter broke out. Mr. Latta banged his thermos of moche latte and angrily exclaimed, "Justin and Dennis, a 55 for today's work." Dennis said, "For what?" Mr. Latta said, "For making noise." "I didn't make noise," proclaimed Dennis. "Now you are," laughed Mr. Latta. Mr. Latta proceeded to continue his lecture and stated, "P and Q is traditionally represented using the AND symbol. We will represent it using the ampersand since that is the symbol most commonly used on computers to represent a logical AND." Bring! Saved by the bell. No one really understood what Mr. Latta was talking about. We were just glad the agony was over. For now. For my second script, I'll read an article I wrote called "The 10 Zens of Technology Planning." The 10 Zens of Technology Planning by Jacob Kutnicki. Your principal has drafted you to create a school-based technology plan. You are both enthused and scared at this prospect. Where do I start? Do we get iPods for all the students? Perhaps we should purchase netbooks. I hear they are really cheap. Then again, I hear they are kind of flimsy and the keyboard is too small. Wait a minute. How are we paying for this? With this in mind, I share with you the 10 Zens of technology planning. Number 1. Establish a committee with stakeholders of varying interests. Make sure to include a special education teacher, L teacher, math teacher, science teacher, and administrator, as well as staff members from other subjects and interests. Number 2. Conduct a hardware and instructional needs inventory. The hardware inventory should catalog the age, functionality, and condition of the technology equipment. The instructional needs inventory will help a school determine what instructional focus the computer hardware will be used for. Number 3. Develop a long-term plan. Ask your committee the following. In 5 years, what 3 technology milestones do we wish to achieve? Number 4. Develop a short-term goal. Ask your committee the following. In 5 months, what one goal do we wish to accomplish? Number 5. Develop activities to achieve the short-term goal. Once the committee agrees on a short-term goal, it becomes important to create a mini timeline of what activities must be carried out to fulfill the short-term goal. Number 6. Grants. Grants are often a major funding source to help schools acquire and uptake technology within a school. With this in mind, schools should aggressively seek grant opportunities. This includes funds available from local politicians, private foundations, donations, and public grants. In many cases, simply writing a letter and making a few phone calls can help a school net a grant or donation. For example, a company purchases new computers and may wish to donate their old computers as it helps them avoid potential recycling costs and can be used as a tax write-off. Similarly, a local politician is running for re-election and might have funds to help a local school. Likewise, a philanthropist creates a grant opportunity offering free computers to promote his or her cause. In each of these scenarios, the schools that proactively seek these opportunities is far more likely to benefit from one or all of these opportunities. Number 7. Repair and repurpose technology. All too often, schools are ready to throw out equipment that appears to be older. This is a shame as older computers can be nursed back to health by re-imaging the machine. Additionally, older machines can be used as dedicated writing and research centers, whereas newer machines can handle photo and video editing applications, which tend to be more taxing. If a machine is beyond repair, cannibalize it and use it for spare parts. Not only is it environmentally sound, it also teaches students a valuable lesson about computer repair. Number 8, be wary of purchasing the newest technology toy. New products typically are ridden with hardware problems, have a limited number of applications, and are cost prohibitive. For example, in 2007, the iPhone cost $500, was buggy, and had very limited features. 3 years and several upgrades later, the same device is far less costly and has approximately millions of applications that can be used. One may also recall that a number of school systems purchased the first generation tablet-based laptops, which proved to be costly, underpowered, and buggy. Number 9, research software solutions. As we all know, there is no shortage of vendors trying to sell their wares. The best way to determine the effectiveness of a program is to test the software. Fortunately, acquiring trial versions of the software is fairly easy to do, as reputable companies will usually offer white papers documenting the effectiveness of their product and will offer a 30-day trial version of their software. Number 10, avoid drive-by professional development. All too often, schools will conduct one session of professional development. This is a recipe for failure, as multiple sessions are needed to see a cohesive improvement. Additionally, follow-up workshops are critical. It is also important to offer a menu of workshops, as adults learning how to use technology often have different needs. Okay, so finally, I will read a short poem I wrote called Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood by Jacob Kutnicki. They look at my face and say, is he in outer space? They say, what a waste. He's playing with toothpaste. I say, look at me, walking on my knee. Bet you think it's crummy. I think it's very funny. I have been called wild. I am the autistic child. Don't expect me to speak. Don't be in a funk because I play with junk. Some think I'm a foolish prancer. They don't know I grow up to cure cancer. As you can see, each of these scripts ideas have a different feel to it. In any case, regardless of which path you take, a script is always needed to produce a successful video. Even if you are interviewing someone, it is a good idea to jot down the questions you will ask. And as noted previously, it is always a good idea to share with the interviewee the type of questions you will ask. After you have written your script, it is time to record your video. It is always a good idea to try not rushing through your video and to pause as needed so that it will be easier to edit your work. You should also check the following items before you record the video, such as the lighting in the room and how the sound is being captured. Once this is done, it is time to make your video. I will typically record my video using QuickTime. QuickTime can be found in your applications folder or on the dock. After you complete recording your video, it is time to edit your work. On a basic level, you will want to remove unwanted video. In QuickTime, you can trim the video and split the clip. In other words, QuickTime has very limited editing features. You may also decide to re-record certain parts of the video if you are not satisfied with the results. Additionally, you may decide to add transitions to your video and background pictures as well. For the purpose of this class, I have been using iMovie, the software package bundled on my laptop to edit videos. Using iMovie is simple. One simply double-clicks on the iMovie application from the application folder or from your dock. After iMovie is launched, you click on New Movie. You will then have different movie types you can create. Typically, I will choose the simple theme, as I do not want to use the built-in themes. After this is done, I will import the video and or audio either by using the import button or by dragging the video and or audio to the video and or audio track area on the iMovie application. Once this is done, it is time to play back the video and decide where to add pictures, remove video, add transition, or other video elements. For example, I may decide to add a transition effect such as a swap, doorway, or some of the other transitions. There are also a wide range of title effects I can add as well as maps and backgrounds. I can also add sound effects or music from iTunes. After this is done, you will probably play back your video and conduct additional edits. After this is done, it is time to export my video by using the File, Share, File function. You can also export it directly to YouTube or iTunes using the File Share menu. After you exported your video to your desktop, you are almost ready to add closed captioning to your video. However, before this is done, you will need to upload your video to YouTube. If you already have a Google account, you can log on to YouTube using your Google account. If not, you will first need to create a Google account. Creating a Google account is easy. Point your browser to google.com and click on the Sign In button. On the next screen, you will be able to sign in or follow the on-screen prompts to create a Google account. Please note, part of this process will require you to type verification text. It is important to type this in correctly. After this is done, use the Apps tab to enter YouTube or go to youtube.com. On the upper right-hand side, there is an upload button. Use that button to upload your video. Once your video is uploaded, you can play back the video or press the CC, Close Captioning button to add closed captioning. In this area, you can add closed captioning by clicking on Add New Subtitles or CC, Closed Captioning. After this is done, you can copy and paste your script and save the data. YouTube will then use its built-in tools to analyze the text you uploaded and sync it with your speaking component. About 15 minutes later, your closed captioning will be ready to view. You can then edit the text further if there are any text errors or problems with the timing. If you add closed captioning but do not add a script, YouTube will analyze your video and add the subtitles by itself. However, you should be warned that this solution is not ideal, as its audio analysis may not be 100% accurate. Now that you have completed watching this tutorial, it's your turn to develop a short script, record a video, edit and upload the video, and add closed captioning to the video. For your convenience, I have added a few examples of closed captioning on this page. Closed captioning examples actually cover content from other modules. However, it should be noted that closed captioning examples only serve as example of closed captioning, as the finalized version of the video content was already presented in other modules. Well, that's it for now. Best of luck with your video project.